I know him personally, and I'm one of his biggest fans of his art.
Yeah.
When he's being artistic.
Right.
Gotten to the point now, a lot of us older people that grew up listening to Jay, grew up, watching Jay come up, start calling him lazy, because the lyrics is kind of a little lazy to me. And I understand it from a business perspective. He's 43, almost 44 years old, and he's got to stay working and keep up with what the kids are listening to.
Yeah, you
so you can't go over their heads. Right. And Fab's the same way. Fab is an absolutely amazing artist, but he dumbed it down. Lyrically, he brought it down. Yeah, because today's average hip hop fan, they don't get the metaphors in the way we got them.
And it's weird too. It's weird.
Yeah, they don't get it. I believe Biggie would have had to bring it down a notch too, because they were so far above everyone's heads at points in their career. It was just like today's audience wouldn't get it.
Yeah,
that's because I watched a lot of interviews after the Holy Grail came out, after Magna Carta came out with Jay-Z, and he was talking to just in his interviews, he talked a lot about his lyrics, not him saying something different. Like he was talking about charity guilt, like when you give away too much money that you feel guilty and stuff like that, and how it's not directly translated through his lyrics, what he means literally versus what he says.
Right.
And so my question is, like, I don't understand why he couldn't just be literal. Like, why can't you just be straight up with what you mean?
Because he's a brand. He's a business, and it's a little bit different from Jay-Z, from say Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick right now is not a brand yet. Jay-Z has deals on the table with Live Nation where he has to keep working because Live Nation gave him $150 million up front. If he don't make hit records, he doesn't work. They don't continue to work. He becomes classic or an old school artist.
Yeah.
And then you guys stop going out to see him because he's deemed as older. So he wants to keep consistently working in order to keep his brand flowing. And that's what it's all about for him now. It's not about the art of the music anymore like it used to be. Like when the first Reasonable Doubt came out, he was about the art.
Yes.
He was about the art of the music. He once sat in front of me and said to me, I don't believe an artist should make music unless they have something to say. A lot of times now, he don't have anything to say. A lot of them don't have anything to say. But when you have, a great body of work and great records, and then the whole paradigm of hip hop shifts, and the kids are bouncing to, I don't give a fuck, you ain't about shit. How do you compare? How do you compete with that when you're saying something?
You can't.
You can't. You can't. It has to. Not when you're 43. It has to come from somebody young. It has to come from Kendrick. It has to come from these young dudes. It can't come from him. It's got to come from somebody.
And like, why do you think that is though? Like, I mean, cause like that puzzles me all the time when I'm like listening to records and stuff. Like old hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Cause like I remember a lot of those artists. Like I came up on a lot of those artists too. Like I was born in '85, so like I remember the whole '90s era. Like the Wu and Big and Pac and like Common when he first came out. Like a lot of Tribe Called Quest, a lot of those cats. So like why do you think what do you think was responsible for the whole shift? I mean, like
it's very simple. Hip hop changes every 5 to 10 years. Very simple. If you were 10 years old, when you turn 15, you're not listening to the same thing you were listening to when you were 10. And when you turn 20, you're definitely not feeling the same way you felt when you were 15. So what we have to do as elder statesmen of hip hop is allow you guys to love who you love. I can't shove who I love down your throat. You gotta like who you like, and then hopefully I can teach you the foundation of hip hop, and you can grow into it and be like, you know what, this was dope, and this was dope, and this was dope. Like you said, you grew up Pac, Biggie, Talib Kweli, Common,
Black Star, Mos Def.
Right, Mos Def grew up on that. But you gotta understand, there was dope before that. There was G-Rap, there was Kane,
Yeah,
and before that,
yeah.
Melly Mel is one of the most incredible lyricists ever. And a lot of people don't understand what Melly Mel meant to hip hop. Without Melly Mel, rap as it is today does not exist at all. Without Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel, it does not exist, because before Melly Mel, there was Hollywood, there was Eddie Chiba, and there was guys like that, and it was more of call and response. The MC was more of a party starter. They didn't rhyme the way Melly Mel and his brothers started rhyming. They were more like, there'd be a party and people be on the floor and you get on the mic, because I remember I was doing it like 75, 76, and I would get on the mic and it was more like, hey, you know, throw your hands in the air, like just don't care. It wasn't saying rhymes. Melly Mel started that. Melly Mel started, we're saying rhymes, stories, rhymes, the rhyme patterns. You know, that started with Melly Mel. It didn't exist. So Melly Mel is absolutely one of the greatest artists of all time. But when Melly Mel came, late 70s, early 80s, and then they ruled kind of in the 80s, and then Running Them changed it after that. You know what I mean? And it just kept, and it changes. So I can't look at somebody 15 years old or 17 as my son that wasn't around then and expect you to feel the same way that I feel about it. When hip hop first came out and it was first really getting on records, it was already in the streets, it was in the parks, and the tapes used to circulate from borough to borough. Like, it was nothing on record, but it was a Busy Bee versus Kumo D thing. They had a battle at some place, and it was like an open battle, and Busy Bee had been winning all of these battles, so he just walked in and was like, y'all don't even need to sign up, y'all know who's gonna win this thing. And Kumo D just went in the bathroom and wrote a rhyme and entered the contest and was like, listen, Busy Bee, I don't mean to be bold, but take the ball diddy ball bullshit back home. We gonna get right down to the nitty grit. I'm gonna tell you a little reason why you ain't shit. It ain't an MC Jock that you don't hug. I mean, you even bitch your name from the Love Bug. And that tape went around all the 5 boroughs, and it got copied over and over and over and over and over. And that was hip hop. And it was just like, yo, Busy Bee is gonna be here, Kumo D is gonna be here. You started knowing the names of all the artists. It's way before records. All right? And then when records came into play, it changed the game. And then Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, you know, Melly Mel. We knew who Melly Mel was because it was always the Furious Five versus Grandmaster Caz and the Fantastic Romantic, and it was all these groups. And so it changes. So as somebody 20, I can't expect you to love that because you weren't around when it happened. But when I was listening to that, my dad, you know what my dad was saying to me? What is that?
Right,
what is that? Scoop doogity bing bing the pop pop wackety woo. That is not music. What is that crap? This rap hip hop crap. So it gotta change. So when you guys get older and you're 40, the generations that are behind you, they're gonna be like, who? Who? Lil Wayne? Oh, that's whack. Watch. It's like, that is so whack. We just gotta allow it to grow. That's a good point. We just gotta allow it to be what it is, man. And it's for everybody. And that's the difference now than when it was before. When hip hop, in its inception, it was a New York City thing. It really wasn't outside of New York. You know what I mean? And then it grew. And when we did Your MTV Raps, we took it from a regional music to a worldwide music, because we were on to Africa and London, and you know, I've met people that learned to speak English because they was watching me. And we was all over the world. Japan, I stepped off the plane in Japan. There was 7,000 people waiting at the airport to see me, and I was like, wow. So we took it to a global thing. So now hip hop is for everybody. You'll find, you know, there's a lot of great artists in London and Africa and Australia and Amsterdam. It's just everybody loves hip hop. So I gotta allow, you know, a lot of the stuff I know is just trash.
I know it, right?
I know it's trash. But I think that if I had to say anything about today's hip hop, I think it's a lack of diversity.
That was gonna be my question.
That's the only problem. That's the only thing I see wrong with it, because I can't say that we didn't have whack hip hop artists, because we did. I do a show on Sirius XM called Backspin, where I play all classic hip hop, and yesterday's show was One Hit Wonders. And we had the Rapping Duke. We had, you know, Whoop, There It Is. That's the only record they ever had.
69 Boys.
Yeah, we had the 69 Boys. Yeah, look at them doing them days, them Sean. Doocy, only record they ever had. So we've had whack artists before. It's always been in hip hop. But what we had was something on one hand to make you feel proud of yourself and proud of being a black person in America and proud of your heritage. At the same time, where Luke was going, we want some P. On the other side, there was Public Enemy with Fight the Power and you know and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's none of that anymore.
Yeah, it's not balanced.
There's no balance.
Yeah.
It's all negativity. It's all I'm a drug dealer.
Yeah,
It's all I'm all y'all women are bitches and hoes. It's all shorty got a fat ass. It's all let's pop mollies and get high. It is all fantasy and fake and facade. There's no balance. The balance is gone. Even when NWA and Ice Cube and them was making records like A Bitch Is a Bitch, Queen Latifah was like, who you calling a bitch?
Yeah.
So there was something there. There was that balance where you could feel proud on one hand, but everybody's not as smart as you guys. You gotta remember that. The majority of America is not as smart as you are. So they take this stuff literal.
Yeah.
They will argue, fight,
They
kill each other,
and that's why
behind hip hop artists.
Yeah,
He Lil Wayne embedded in such a no, Lil Pow, really? They hip hop artists. So that's what it is. That's my only complaint about it. Is the lack of diversity in the
You
music.
still feel like there's room for classic hip hop, for room for the innovation and the creativity of hip
Yeah,
hop.
because I see this next generation that's coming. I think really Kendrick has sparked something. He has sparked lyricism again. You know, when he did the diss record, he called out everybody's names. It was like, listen, step your rap game up. And I think the next generation that's coming with him and behind him is like, yo, listen, we spit, like we for real, like we can rhyme. You know, we ain't about that. That's good 3 o'clock in the morning when you're in the club. But other than that, when are you listening to it? Like, what do you really listen to an album? Like, what's the last great album you listened to? Good Kid in the Mad City. All the way through.
Yeah.
We used to listen to albums. And I think another problem with it is everybody, if you're a hot artist, I don't want to do a record with you because I respect you. I just want to do a record with you because you're hot and you can get my record played on the radio. So there's no real synergy there.
Right.
There's no
love,
real love or respect. It's just, you know, here's the record. We did it on Pro Tools. I'm going to send it to you. Drop your verse and send it back. We're not in the studio collaborating. We're not creating anything. Some of the greatest records, it's funny because Kimana and I was talking about it yesterday. Some of the greatest records ever created were created with everybody in the studio at the same time. One of the greatest posse records of all time is Scenario. One of the greatest records, right? Right, and the Leaders of the Studio. They were all in the studio at the same time. Now you think about it, that record, what that record did for Busta Rhymes was amazing.
Right.
Off that one line, off Row Row like a dungeon drag. Right, it took him to the next level. But is that record the same record if Fife doesn't say Bo knows this and Bo knows that, but Bo knows that? Because Bo can't rap. Now, so if you take Dinko D and put Dinko first, is it the same record? Is it as good? No. It's the collaborative effort of all of them in the studio, and somebody said, Fife, what does Fife got? And Fife said this, and he was like, perfect. That's how we're going to start the record. Fife's going to go first. It's the same way that Jay and Biggie used to be in the studio together, doing I Love the Dough, doing I'm Brooklyn's Finest, you know, trying to outdo each other. Now it's, let me send it to you, man, drop your verse on it. Who's on your album? That's the first thing you hear a radio personality ask somebody. Who's on your album? Who's on your album? But remember, Biggie's first album had one feature.
Method Man.
It was because he respected Method Man. The Great Adventures of Slick Rick. You ever listen to that album? Is there anybody else on that album besides Rick? No.
So can you say that capitalism basically sort of
Destroyed hip hop. Destroyed it.
The money,
the money
fame,
killed it.
The girl,
it destroyed it. Because we did it. We did it because I did it because I wanted it to be the best in Hollis, Queens. I wanted to be the best. I was whoever, bring them to the park. I dare y'all, destroy them. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be the best. When I heard Rock Box, I said I can't make records like that. It's a difference between being a great MC and a person that can make a record. Capitalism in the industry totally destroyed hip hop. Because now it's all about money, 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 money. It's not about the love of the art form. It's not about, oh, I listen to him. He has a record on the radio, but wow, I'm writing, and I'm good. Like, I'm good. I'm even better than him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not like, KRS-One sneak diss and Run DMC. It's not like Kings Rules, Crowns, and Teachers Stay Intelligent. That was shot at Run DMC. Yeah. And I asked Run, why didn't you answer? Run said, because I was doing stadiums. I was doing 80,000 seat stadiums. He was doing clubs. I'm not going to build his career up. I heard it. I was like, who is that? He's nobody to me. And that's how he felt about himself, because he was on top of the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. Now it's about, I need to get a hit record because I'm going to do these clubs so I can make some money, so I can do this, so I can do that. And that rarely happens. So I could be the next Jay-Z. Ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. So it's not about the love for it. It's about, is this my way out of the hood? Is this my way out of the ghetto? We can build our own record company, and we can do this, we can do that, because we've seen it done before. It's not going to happen.
How does social media play into that?
Well, everybody's an artist now. Social media just let everybody, you just be able to get information quicker. And sometimes I really hate social media. I hate technology, period, sometimes. Because technology gave everybody the opportunity to rap. Before, you weren't going to rap because you would be like, okay, I'm good, but in order for me to go into the studio, a good studio is $250 to $300 an hour. I can't afford that. And then I got to buy the 2-inch tape to record on. The 2-inch tape is $500, $600. Then we got to break that down to a half-inch. That's another $300. Then I got to get somebody to mix it. Right. It costs a lot of money for an artist to go in the studio. Then now it's just go in the bathroom with Pro Tools and sing or rap. And it's so cheap to put something on a CD nowadays. You get 1,000 CDs for like $25 with the shrink wrap and your name on it and everything. So it made everybody feel like they can do it. It's like I equated to crack. Like, everybody knew they couldn't get cocaine and put it in bags and sell coke. But when crack came, everybody was like, well, I can get a little bit of cocaine, chop it up, and make more money because I got more of it. So now everybody's a crack dealer. And that's what I feel about hip hop. Everybody's a hip hop artist now. Don't know the business. But everybody's an artist.
That's kind of how I feel about it, because I play a lot of different instruments. I like to play according to my style, like the way I feel. I like being able to translate directly how I feel onto my drum set or onto my bass. Like, I like being able to play my own music.
Please never stop doing that.
Yeah,
that's the biggest mistake I ever made in my life.
Not learning an instrument?
No, I stopped playing trumpet. Biggest mistake I've ever made in my life. Once you have that, they can never take that away from you. You'll work for the rest of your life. Somewhere, somehow, someplace. You will always work. And people don't even appreciate musicians anymore. Yeah. I think Jay with a live band, and he stepped back and let the guitar player go crazy, and everybody's like, and I'm like, didn't y'all just see how amazing that was? They don't appreciate it.
And that's a lot of my point. Like, I don't like playing my music. I don't like playing music for other people. Like, when I go home and I play and I record my own music, I don't let anyone else hear it. Right. Because that's my creative space. Right. I don't like even the idea of somebody, praising me for my creative expression.
Critiquing it.
Yeah. Or even that.
It's difficult. It's more difficult now than I think it was before, because now if you put it out there, everybody's a critic of everything. Yeah. Everything that you do. It's amazing to me, like, what they notice. What people notice. Like, I'll put something up on Instagram or something, and they'll look right behind it. Why your check engine light on in your car? Like, why are you looking at that? Like, really? In my basement a lot. So I'm shooting it, and I had like Jam Master Jay's obituary behind me. And what they saw was the fact that I had a Bible and a Quran. How you gonna put the Bible and the Quran right next to each other? But like, you're not commenting on what I said. You're commenting on what's in my house. Like, yeah, like, what are you looking at? Are you supposed to be concentrating on what I'm doing, but you're too busy looking at the vase that's in the back, and who painted that wall, and why is that wall that color? How big is your TV? It's like, it's crazy. So everybody's a critic on everything now. So once you put something out in the social atmosphere, you give people that opportunity to just critique you to death, no matter what. So I just got to the point I don't read comments anymore.
Yeah.
And then people get mad at that. You don't interact with us on the comments. I don't want to read your comments anymore.
I had a question though. Being that we're here, at, on campus in a school setting, I just wanted to ask you, as far as hip hop is concerned, like with the changes that it's going through and the dumbing down of the whole culture, kind of, and just the nonsense that's coming along with it now, like how do you feel like that's affecting or could potentially affect like future like students who may have like had aspirations of like a higher education, but since you said everybody can do it now, like they might want to go off and be
I understand what you mean. I think it affected them negatively.
Yeah,
because I see it.
Yeah,
I see the I don't want to learn, I want to be a rapper.
Yeah,
because I want to wear the chains and get the girls.
Right. Instant gratification.
Yeah, instant gratification, right. But what they don't understand, and I don't want to get too deep into it because that's what I'm going to be talking about, the fantasy and the reality.
Right.
They don't understand the reality of the business. If you don't know the business, it will eat you up and spit you out. You better know your business. And that's where it starts here. And what they don't understand is they're not the real money makers. See, they'll push Jay-Z in front of you, right? And Jay's gonna make the Forbes list and all of that, but nobody's talking about Lyor Cohen.
right.
And nobody, and Lyor stays low, and Russell stays low. You know what I mean?
He still work with Lyor.
Because Jay is a brand. So you have to understand, Jay didn't make his money off hip hop. Hip hop was a catalyst for him to make money as a brand. Right. He's a brand. He affected pop culture. So all the outside deals that he's done, he's made more money on Rockaware than he ever did off any of his albums. He touring makes him his money. But Rockaware and all the outside endeavors that he has makes him more money than anything that he's done as far as getting a check for making a record. And I got that straight from him and straight from Dame. They said we made our money on Rockaway, dude.
Right.
And he's had good people around him that realized his effect on pop culture. Because Jay did, he kind of like single-handedly got rid of the throwbacks. When we was all wearing throwback jerseys and he was like, yo,
Change clothes.
yeah, change clothes, put on a fresh pair of jeans and button up, and then dudes started wearing button-down shirts. And then when he started driving the, when Mercedes realized his impact, and they gave him the Maybach. The Maybach first came out. You know how many people bought Maybachs because Jay had a Maybach? You know what I mean? So his effect on pop culture is, and he's been able to take that, utilize that, and use his brand to affect a lot of things, and also affect his bottom line, because he's a brand. He's not just an artist, he's a brand. And that's different. But he knows the business, and he has people around him that know the business. These young dudes coming in the rap, they have no idea. They don't know the business. Producers, they don't know the business. They giving away beats.
What do you think about them? Like when I think about people who are coming up, and I think about the Control verse that Kendrick Lamar put out, all those people that he named, Tyler Creator, Drake, Mac Miller, Big Sean, all those people. Like, what do you think about that group that he named? Like,
Yeah, if you look at it, everybody besides Drake is on the downside already. What has Tyler Creator done that's so great? That's charted. When last hit record from Big Sean?
But I mean, when I look at somebody
when he was on.
when you look at somebody
Nobody
like
played his verse.
Yeah.
Tyler the Creator, though, Tyler the Creator doesn't necessarily make up music that's conductive to playtime and radio time and stuff like that. Yet he has such a huge following,
Right, yeah,
international following.
Core following.
Yeah,
and I'm hoping that he's smart enough to understand that that's a brand. So you got to flip that brand now.
TV show.
Yeah.
All right, 10 minutes.
When you think, but he does have a brand. Though. He is a brand. When he recognized the fact that he can make socks make $1 million off socks.
Right.
In
Yeah,
general.
that's branded.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so,
smart.
I feel still, as an artist, even with his music, I still feel like he's one of the top. Like in my book, in coming out in this age, being as blunt and straightforward as he is with the way he feels about certain things or his attitude towards certain things,
Right.
and integrating it directly into his music, makes him a powerhouse for this generation of
Yeah,
rappers.
absolutely. Absolutely, because he's being honest. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Honesty and being who you are is always the best way to go in music. You just gotta be who you are and not put on a uniform. You know, don't be a sheep, be a sheep herder. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So I agree with you on in that aspect of. I'm not a big fan of it. I like what's the guy's name? One of the guys in this crew. I always forget the boy's name. He got a weird name.
Earl Sweatshirt.
Yeah, I like Earl Sweatshirt more than any of them.
Earl Sweatshirt.
But yeah, I agree. I think his brand is something else, but I think a lot of the other ones are going to fall by the wayside because they're not true artists to begin with. They're just somebody that sounds like somebody else. I may be wrong. I've been wrong before, but you know, I think a lot of them it's not going to last because hip hop is going to change and there's going to be somebody else, and you know.
But at the same time, do you feel like there are still people who are pushing the kind of knowledge?
Yeah,
Hip hop?
there's a lot of young artists that a lot of people have. The kid Chance the Rapper is dope.
Oh, I was just going to bring him
Yeah,
up.
that kid is dope.
Chance Rapper, J. Cole was.
Yeah, J. Cole, you know, people sleep on J. Cole. That kid is dope.
Dude, man, like,
Yeah.
I hit that,
Yeah. There's a lot of kids, man. A lot of, you know, male and female that I've heard that are really, really dope. And my son and his crew, my son is into it now, heavy. Well, he comes from a hip hop dad, so. But my son is just different, man. He grew up in the suburbs. He can't talk gangster. He ain't grow up gangster.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's his own voice, and that's one thing that, you know, he learned from me is like, you gotta spit what's really you. And that's what he's talking about. And that's what Tyler and them do.